In the past few decades, the film industry has undergone a significant transformation. With advancements in technology and the rise of streaming platforms, what does the state of film and cinema look like in 2023? In the past couple of decades, the landscape of film and cinema has changed drastically, with most people agreeing that it has been in a rapid decline in quality. This is due to major corporations like Marvel draining life from smaller productions, and many cinemas closing across the country due to streaming services like Netflix taking over.
No one cares about movies anymore. No one goes to cinema. No one really watches network TV. Everyone's watching Netflix. This show should just be me coming out going, well done Netflix, you win. Everything. Good night.
Services like this create massive amounts of mediocre content, rather than putting a large amount of effort into one production, which is usually done for a cinema release. But not everything about streaming services is bad. Streaming platforms are continuing to revolutionise the way we watch film. They're giving filmmakers more creative control and allowing them to take more risks than would usually be allowed for a cinema release. They're also giving viewers access to a wider range of content than ever before, from indie films
Little trouble there. Let's pick it up at 17.
to foreign language movies. While streaming platforms have been a game changer, they're not without their challenges, as they have caused a decline in cinema attendance, which is why it's more important than ever for cinemas to adapt to the changing landscape. While streaming platforms have allowed people to watch movies anytime, anywhere on any device, cinemas continue to provide a unique experience that cannot be replicated at home. Many people still enjoy the experience of watching a movie on a big screen with an audience. So what does the future hold for the film industry? Well, the answer lies in bringing these two things together. Cinema needs to adapt to the changing landscape and partner with streaming services like Netflix to provide unique experiences and early viewings. In fact, this is already starting to happen, with films like Knives Out, A Glass Onion.
This is just like the other ones, but I didn't send it to you.
How many of these boxes did you create?
Being shown in cinemas before being released to the full website. But while streaming platforms have revolutionised the way we watch film, their rise has also allowed for the rise of their evil counterpart. These websites allow users to watch movies for free, without the permission of the filmmakers or the studios. This not only hurts the bottom line of the film industry, but it also undermines the creative process. Why do people use these websites? Some people argue that the price of going to the cinema regularly or subscribing to multiple streaming sites is too high. Others may not be aware of the negative impact that illegal streaming sites have on the film industry. Regardless of the reasons, it's important to remember that illegal streaming ultimately hurts the film industry. But what can be done about illegal streaming websites? The film industry has been working with law enforcement to try and shut down these websites where possible, and educating the public about the importance of supporting film and cinema properly. But what about your thoughts? We asked people to give us their opinions on the state of film and cinema in 2023.
Not the same as it was like back in the days. Like I prefer like early 2000 films. I just feel like it's more, you get better quantity and stuff, and it's like the way the films are, they're just better quality than now.
As of now, I think it's been like taken over by franchises. It's lacking a lot of originality.
Sometimes I go to the cinema and I can't find anything to watch whatsoever, so it's kind of like I've just kind of stuck to what to watch and stuff.
Yeah, I think we've moved on from kind of praising the more like traditional film to kind of focusing on these big brands, these big franchises like Marvel, DC.
Exactly.
They just bring in more attention and more money than, in my opinion, better made films and just better films in general.
Even when I'm scrolling through like Netflix as well, it's like sometimes I'm struggling to find stuff to watch.
I mean, it's good that we're still having people come to cinemas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think we should put more focus on the kind of more to themselves movies than just these big franchises.
I feel like animated movies are getting a lot more ahead nowadays, but when it comes to more live action movies, I feel like they go more in the route of adding CGI and stuff like that instead of sticking to more practical effects.
Yeah, and there's a lot of remakes as well, like just a lot of nostalgia within movies and shows.
As well as just movies being a lot longer now when they're not needed to be.
I think the creativity has kind of been sucked out of these films just to fund like remakes or reboots and
100%,
all of that stuff.
And I feel like a lot of the shorter films, like back in the day, were a lot better when it comes to like how the CGI looks, because it wasn't as long and they didn't need to keep up that kind of level throughout the whole movie. Although films like Avatar now are pretty good, since that is kind of the whole thing, is how well they look. But I think definitely the state of a lot of the films now are a lot less in quality other than the animated ones, which I feel like have gone up by a big margin.
The music industry in 2023 is absolutely thriving.
I think the music industry is in a good place. I think it's always on the rise. I think it's hard to, music is for everyone. I think it's hard to really, for it to lose traction.
Services like Spotify and Apple Music absolutely dominating the scene.
Especially with modern streaming services like Spotify and that, it's just getting easier and easier to listen to music.
Award shows like the Grammys, however, aren't doing so well, with artists like The Weeknd accusing them of corruption.
Even like newer artists making vinyls and stuff, you know, that kind of stuff's got a massive comeback.